Thank you so much, Anuja. Sir, shall I proceed?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everybody. As Anuja has already given us a brief discussion about what is League of Nations. So yes, when I am going to start about establishment of United Nations, the main discussion that before explaining what United Nation is, let us see that why a situation came, or what was the reason, or what was the limelight, or what was the purpose that everybody thought that there shall be a purpose that United Nations should be established. So in the 20th century, we respectively have seen two world wars. The League of Nations was established after the First World War. Now, what generally happens is when two states or when two countries are fighting against each other, there is massive destruction. There is massive destruction of life. There is massive destruction of economic and political powers. And there are very economical and social problems faced by both the countries. Okay, so basically, League of Nations was established so that there can be maintenance of peace. Or as you can say, it is better. It was a platform provided to the countries who have certain issues with each other to come down, to settle down, and put it into a conference. As it is quoted very nicely, that it is better to bore each other with words rather than to bore each other bodies with the arms and guns and everything. So that is why the reason League of Nations was established. But League of Nations could not stop the Second World War, and ultimately League of Nations dissolved. So that is the time, like United Nations did not establish in one single night itself. Like we have seen when we had a lot of struggle for independence, in the similar manner, we had a lot of struggle for the United Nations formations also. So there were many charters that were signed. There were many things that took place. लीग ऑफ नेशंस मींस ऐसा सेटअप नहीं था कि एक रात में किसी ने डिस्कस किया या किसी के दिमाग में आइडिया आया कि ओके फाइन, एक लीग ऑफ नेशंस, एक पीस कीपिंग ट्रीटी या एक इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होना चाहिए जो दो कंट्रीज के बीच के वॉर को प्रिवेंट करे, एंड वी शैल हैव इट. So this was not the scenario that it was one single night boom in. So as you can see the presentation that I have prepared, the search for peace culminated into the formation of United Nations after the World War II. From April 25th to April 26, 1914, there was declaration from 50 countries. So in the beginning, 50 countries came and they agreed to the peacekeeping concept that war should not take place, and if any country has problem with each other. For example, now घर में जब दो छोटे बच्चे होते हैं या फिर सेम एज के या डिफरेंट एज के, तो उनमें बहुत ज्यादा लड़ाई होती है. So at one point of time, the mother has to intervene, or any another son of the family member has to intervene and tell them stop, and you people like stop the war. In the similar manner, United Nations does the same thing. If there is a war taking place, they decide to sit in a table conference and sort it out. Now the next thing, the benefit of United Nations from the establishment of United Nations is, अभी जब घर में दो बच्चे लड़ाई करते हैं गुस्से में, आपको नहीं पता कि वो means you know what things will they break up. आसपास जो चीजें होती हैं, in anger they throw that. It is their way of showing the anger. In the similar manner, when there is a war taking between two states, two nations, what happens is soldiers who are innocent, they have to die unnecessarily, even if they are fault. The economic power is affected very badly. So when the economic power is affected very badly, basically भुखमरी आ जाती है क्योंकि उन्होंने सारा पैसा अपना war में invest कर दिया है, and there is nothing for the nation's development. So basically in the starting, there were 50 nations that agreed, and they signed a UN charter where they agreed that we will not get into any wars. Later on, it changed to 51, and current situation that is that there are 193 members. Anuja, please, can you show the next slide? Anuja, yeah. So there are various charters. The first one is the Atlantic Charter. As I said, जो हमारा United Nations का platform था, वो रातों रात नहीं form हुआ था. इसका एक evolution part है that there are various charters that came up. So the first one is the Atlantic Charter that took place between two most powerful people. Who were the two most powerful people? I have mentioned it. It was formed on August between two most powerful rulers. That is the Prime Minister of UK, Winston Churchill, and President of USA, that is Franklin Roosevelt. Now, this took place on the board of a ship in Atlantic Ocean. The major point was of this charter that every state should have a right to choose its own government, easing trade restrictions. There should be very minor restrictions put up on trade, not the major ones, and appeal for post-war discrimination. Along with it, there were major 8 principles that were set up that state that United States and Britain, by this charter, they agreed that they will not seek any political gain from the war and opposed any territorial change that took place without the consent of the people who were staying within that state or within that country. And they also agreed to support to restore the countries who had basically lost themselves during the Second World War. Anuja, please, the next slide.
Sure. Yes.